Hey there and welcome. So, let's talk about your savings account for a second. Are you tired of watching it earn, well, pretty much nothing? You are definitely not alone. Today, we're going to break down exactly how you can start investing right here in New Zealand and turn that money into a real engine for building wealth. So here's the game plan for today. First, we'll cover the fundamental why of investing. Then we'll dive into your toolkit, the different options you've got. After that, we're going to look at a super simple but powerful strategy, compare the best places to do it, and finally, lay out the exact first steps you can take to get started.
So let's kick things off with the big question. Why even bother investing? Well, let's be real, the interest you get in a savings account is so low, it often can't even keep up with inflation. And you know what that means? The money you've saved is actually losing its buying power over time. Investing is how you fight back. It's how you put your money to work so it can actually grow for you.
And the secret weapon behind all of this, it's something called compound interest. Honestly, this is the true engine of creating wealth. Just picture a snowball rolling down a hill. It starts small, but as it rolls, it picks up more snow, getting bigger and bigger, faster and faster. That's your money. Your investment earns money, and then that money starts earning its own money. It's this amazing exponential effect that is just one of the most powerful forces in finance.
Okay, so we know why we should invest. Now, let's get into the what. We're going to explore the three main tools you'll find in your investment toolkit. We're talking individual shares, exchange-traded funds, or what we call ETFs, and managed funds. Right, so these first two, shares and ETFs, they represent pretty different ways of thinking. When you buy shares, you're buying a tiny piece of one specific company. Think Apple or maybe Air New Zealand. This is perfect if you're someone who actually enjoys doing the research and wants to back specific companies you really believe in. ETFs, on the other hand, are totally different. They bundle hundreds, sometimes thousands of different shares into one single investment, giving you instant diversification. And this quote just sums it up perfectly. An ETF is basically a done-for-you portfolio. It does all the heavy lifting of diversification for you. So instead of trying to pick the one winning horse, you're kind of betting on the entire race.
Now, your third option is something called a managed fund. And it's a lot like an ETF. It's another done-for-you diversified portfolio, but with one really key difference. You don't buy and sell it on the share market. You get it directly from a provider. They often come sorted by risk level, so you might see a conservative fund, a balanced one, or a growth fund. And the platform you use really matters here. A platform like InvestNow, for example, gives you a massive range to choose from.
All right, now for the how. We've got our tools, but a tool is kind of useless without a strategy, right? Well, the best strategy for most people is simple, it's been tested for decades, and most importantly, it takes all the emotion out of investing. It's called dollar cost averaging, or DCA for short. And the idea is just brilliantly simple. You invest the exact same amount of money on a regular schedule, like every single month, no matter what the market is doing. Even legends like Warren Buffett use this kind of thinking, because it stops you from falling into the trap of trying to time the market, which, let's be honest, is almost impossible to do.
Now here's the really clever part. DCA automatically makes you buy low and sell high without you even thinking about it. When the market takes a dip and prices are low, your fixed amount of money, let's say $300, naturally buys you more shares. When the market is booming and prices are high, that same $300 buys you fewer shares. Over time, this whole process smooths out your average costs and just takes the sting out of those wild market swings.
Okay, let's make this really concrete. Imagine you're investing $300 a month, every month. See what happened in March? The price dropped to $20, so your $300 got you 15 shares. But then in May, when the price was up at $30, you only got 10. Look at the end result. Your average cost per share ends up being lower than the peak prices. That's the power of just being consistent. Okay, so we've covered the why, the what, and the how. Now for the super practical part, the where. To actually start investing, you need a platform. So let's quickly compare some of the most popular choices for Kiwis. Choosing the right platform, well, it really all comes down to your personal goals. Sharesies is famous for being incredibly easy to use, which makes it awesome for absolute beginners. InvestNow is a total powerhouse if you're interested in managed funds. They've got a huge range and no platform fees. And then you have Tiger Brokers, which is a massive contender for anyone who wants cheap access to global markets and literally thousands of ETFs. And that brings up a really important point, cost, especially when you're investing in huge overseas markets like the US.
As the editor of Money Hub points out here, that aggressive pricing can make a massive, massive difference to your returns in the long run. It's why experts often see platforms like Tiger Brokers as a standout choice. Which brings us to a crucial detail that honestly, so many new investors just completely overlook: annual fund fees. See, in the world of investing, fees are one of the only things you can actually control, and their impact on your wealth over the years is just enormous. Okay, just look at this. These are two different ETFs that track the exact same thing. The S&P 500 Index, which is the top 500 companies in the US. The one you can buy here in New Zealand has an annual fee of 0.34%, but the US-listed Vanguard version, which you can get through a platform like Tiger Brokers, charges just 0.03%. Let that just sink in for a second. That's 10 times more in fees for the exact same investment. The only difference is how you access it. And over decades, the impact of that is just staggering.
And here's what that looks like in actual dollars and cents. On a $50,000 investment, that tiny little fee difference could cost you over $6,000 in lost returns over 20 years. I mean, that's money that should be in your pocket, working for you, not the fund managers.
All right, we have been through a lot. We've covered the why, the what, the how, and the where. Now it's time to put all of this together into a simple action plan. And listen, the single most important myth we need to bust is that you need a fortune to get started. You just don't. As Christopher Walsh from Money Hub says here, something as small as $40 a week is a fantastic place to start. It's the consistency that builds wealth, not some huge lump sum.
So let's recap the whole game plan. Here it is, your wealth creation checklist. 1. Start as early as you can to let that compounding magic really work. 2. Choose your tools. ETFs are great for easy diversification. 3. Put your strategy on autopilot with dollar cost averaging. 4. And this one is so important. Pay attention to fees because they really add up. And finally, number 5, just get started. Pick an amount you can actually afford and then just be consistent.
And that brings us to the end. But in a way, it's also the beginning. The goal of all this isn't just to learn stuff, it's to actually take action. So the final question isn't for me, it's for you. What's the first small, consistent investment that you can commit to today to kickstart your own wealth creation journey? Thanks for watching.